Let's take a couple of minutes and we'll walk through the audio settings on Pioneer's AVH-180 DVD. So from any source, and we're on the USB source right now, let's touch the gears here. And we're going to go to the speaker right here. And we will start off with the graphic EQ settings. And for more information on the graphic EQ settings, be sure to check out the graphic EQ video. Next up, we see rear speaker and pre-out, and both of those things are grayed out. I can't get to them. To get to those, we need to turn the head unit off. So I'm just going to touch the home button here, and we will choose to turn the source off. Note that the screen still stays lit up, but the audio system is turned off. Now we're going to touch the gears, and we're going to go back to the speaker, and now we have the rear speaker and pre-out available. So right now this tells me that my rear speaker output is set to full range. If I want, I can switch the rear speaker output to subwoofer output. And note when we do that, the pre-out is automatically switched to subwoofer output as well. But for right now, I'm going to switch my rear speaker output to full range output, and then my pre-out is available again as subwoofer, or we can choose to make it the same as the rear speaker, which would be full range. For right now, I want my subwoofer output, my RCA output, to be the subwoofer output. Once we've made those settings, we're going to go back out and choose a source like USB. And we'll go back to the gears and back to the speaker. And next up is our fader and balance control. Now note, if you don't have a fade and balance control here, that's because you have the rear speaker set to subwoofer output, and you'll only have a balance control. Your fader goes away. So we'll go in here, and we have a graphical representation of the fade and balance control. We can balance to the right and left, fade to the front and rear, or you can just touch somewhere on the screen to move that system around and make those changes. Once you've made changes that you like there, we'll go back up. And next up is our loudness control, and right now loudness is switched off. We'll switch it on, and we have 3 settings for loudness: low, mid, and high. You can choose the settings for loudness that work best for you. For right now, we'll switch the loudness on and on its low setting. We'll go back up, and we'll scroll down here. Our next part is the source level adjuster. Now remember, we were on the USB source when we started, so we have the source level adjuster available. If you are on the AM/FM radio source, the source level adjuster will be grayed out. So we'll open the source level adjuster here, and here you can see that we have we can adjust the volume for USB as compared to FM. So we can make the USB source a little louder or a little quieter as compared to FM. And this is so that when we switch between sources, AM, FM, USB, CD, or whatever you happen to be listening to, the volume stays about the same, and there isn't a giant change in the volume when you switch between sources. So all of the volumes are compared to FM. Once you've made that adjustment, we'll go back up. Next up is our bass boost. Right now set to 0. We can choose to boost the bass up to about a +6 if we want to, or make another adjustment, and we can go back up. Next up is our high pass filter, and right now the high pass filter is switched off. High pass filter, we can switch it on and choose a crossover frequency for the high pass filter up to 125 Hertz. We will make that the high pass filter set at 80 Hertz for right now. We'll go back up. And then we see our subwoofer. Right now our subwoofer is turned off, and so our subwoofer settings are grayed out. We'll switch the subwoofer on, and that lights up the subwoofer settings. We'll enter the subwoofer settings. Here we can choose for the phase, normal or reverse phase for the subwoofer. We'll put it in its normal phase right now, but be sure to check in your vehicle to see which one sounds better. We can change the level of the output for the subwoofer, boost it or cut it a little. We'll boost it up a little, and then we can choose a crossover frequency for that subwoofer output. Once we've chosen a crossover frequency, we can go back up, and that's the bottom of the audio settings list. We can hit the X to escape.